Hello. Whoops, didn't even realize that was going. Let me chill out on that. So we're back. It's been a while since the Pimp King has strutted his little fine ass onto this camera. Talk to you people, to you amazing fans out there. A lot has changed. The last time that we were here, I discussed getting rid of Kendall. That was like 2 aeons ago. Long time. I used to ride my dinosaur to the HOH competition back then, you know? And we're here today to give you an update. How am I doing? I'm pretty well. I've been going through it, life-wise. And it has affected my overall entertainment value. And I apologize. I haven't given you guys a lot of content, and that's on me. But we got a long game, and I plan on being here for the long haul. So expect an even further haul as well. So we're here. Derek S. gets his ass sent. Big shock. When you're a mess, and when you make a mess, and you don't have a towel nearby to clean it up, and when the towel is nearby, it's dirty, and you're too lazy to pick it up, that would be an example of what happened to Derek S., right? Derek S. played himself right out of the game. Whatever, it sucked. I would have loved to see Kendall go right there. Kendall's a bigger threat. Kendall's more social. Kendall's directly after myself. However, I think with Kendall walks around this house thinking that they are Kendall Giesling, Kendall Kirby, Kendall Reyes, Kendall Russo, you name it. They think that they're the best player that's ever played this game. And guess what? They are. You are, Kendall. I bow down to you. I bow down to you. Eh? You know what I mean? I bow down to you. But let's be real. Kendall is a mess. So there is a silver lining to them remaining in the house. Because for me, when I'm a big personality, and we'll get into what's taking place with my game, when my threat level is big, I do need people like Kendall around, because ultimately the others will chase them down, potentially before me, in the case that I maneuver correctly. So we swap, and we get on a team with Mr. JoJo, Cass, who else is on there? Nova, my number one guy, Den, Instinct, my brother, my playing 2K, we shooting hoops, you know. Who else? Aquila, and Klee. So interesting. You know what's great? Out of the 3 teams at that time, I would have preferred nothing more than to be on that exact team. It was amazing, an amazing outcome. Hallelujah. That's the first time I really was like, man, God's real. You know what I mean? They put me on a tribe with a bunch of people that I like. There's Cass, the whole 9 yards. And then so what happens is we play the HOH, and Klee wins. And there's definitely some unsurety there. Thankfully, I put some work in. So the hope is that Klee doesn't put me up. Shit! Put a pause on it, guys. Put a pause on it. Because production messed up one of the answers. And now Nova, one of my top allies, my flirtmance, has officially won the 7th at a household. Congratulations. We are, in theory, golden. Should be a pretty easy week, right? We get Aquila out, most likely. JoJo backdoor, Scenarios, as Jose Flores would once say. We go along, and there's an alliance created by, I don't know who made it. Instinct's Mr. Alliance. You know him. Me, Den, Nova, and himself in an alliance. And great. Amazing. Great setup. I have the relationship with Cass from before the game. We hit it right off right away. We share information. She tells me that JoJo has a camouflage. So that's good to know, because just is, maybe I can make it work with JoJo. Let me have a conversation with JoJo. Let's see how that goes. So I go and do that. I hop on a voice call with him right away. And I'm like, dude, what's up? Like, I tried to give him some information. I gave him the style special, the saucing, the lathering, the toss in the wings, stuff like that. And I'm on the voice call and he's like, "Oh yeah, I agree." And like, that is how he sounds. That is how he comes off. And I just know that he's full of shit. He wants nothing to do with me. That becomes further confirmed when multiple people, Cass included, inform me that he hates me. He wants me gone. He thinks I'm a bullshitter. Every insult that you can probably think, he has most likely conceived in his mind. You know, that pea brain of his. And it is what it is. It sucks because JoJo is one of the biggest targets in the game. And at some point, they're going to get backdoored. They're going to get completely hoodwinked, backdoored, and embarrassed because they don't have as many close allies that truly, truly, truly care about them as they probably think. Nobody's going to bring JoJo to the finals. Work with someone like me. Work with a big target. Work with a big personality. Let's help each other out. Let's not metagame. Let's work together. We got to the final 3 in our last game. And I ultimately get rid of him. And he makes many statements along the lines of, you should kill yourself. There's one of those. A lot of different very, very nasty things. I get it, man. I've heard a lot of people's feelings. When you win all the time, like me, people get jealous. People hated Tom Brady. People hated LeBron James. Sorry. That's what happens when you're just above your sport. You win. Don't take that seriously. Because as we move along, great. We got Aquila and Klee on the block. Pretty much expected. You're not going to put JoJo up off the rip because Nova has a good relationship with JoJo. But maybe there's a world, maybe, just maybe, that I can get him backdoored. The veto goes along, and Nova tells me to use my veto pass because nobody else is playing in the power veto competition. Yeah? Sure. Let's prove some trust with Nova here because Nova, I think, just thinks that I'm a slime ball. Everyone thinks I'm a slime ball. I am a slime ball. And so I play in the power veto. And I actually, considering she said I was the only one to competed, my intention was to do really poorly because if I was the winner, I want my public results to be that I just absolutely bombed and tanked it, and that I am not of any kind of challenge prowess. So Nova lies, and the veto results come out, and JoJo is your winner of the power veto. I still feel safe at the time. That's fine as what it is. JoJo's not going to use the veto. Maybe he'll use it, but I don't think anything crazy would happen. Maybe like Instinct goes up. Maybe Den goes up. And we vote the other person on the block out, hypothetically, right? And then you're sitting there for a couple hours. And as time goes by, when all of your messages are gray and you see other people leveling up, you know that there's just something amiss in the air. And come to find out, the veto meeting takes place. JoJo is such a feminist. That's what he states in his speech. Taking off the mom of 5 kids, Aquila, off the block. Very chivalrous. Clearly, chivalry is not dead. And after being ignored for a few hours, at some point, you're like, are they putting me up? Because, this is not a part of the plan. You know what I mean? This is not a part of anything that I expected. Nova stands up, delivers her speech. She calls the pest control. She fires her shot. And the replacement, I'm like, the pest control? Are you calling me a rat? But no, thankfully, but not great. Den goes up on the block. And yeah, not great, right? Your number 1 ally goes on the block and you had no idea. Not the best thing. The instant Den hits the block and the way that the speeches were given clearly indicates confidence in the fact that Den going up means that Den is going home. So I already know we're cooked. We're cooked. There's no fighting for Den. I tried to see what kind of conversation you can have the first 5-10 minutes. That's where everybody kind of came clean and was like, yeah, Den has been messy. Den leaked the alliance that I aforementioned to JoJo. I didn't know that. Me and Den did conspire to work on JoJo and have Den get in with JoJo as a way to get information from JoJo. And in particular, in the case that JoJo won an HOH, wouldn't nominate Den next to me, leaving the scenario where Den could win a veto and pull me off the block. Backfires, and he blows up Den's game because he suspects that he's working with me, and he's obsessed with me. JoJo is obsessed with me. We hop on a VC, and I say, JoJo, let's talk this out. I noticed this underlying tension between us. What can we do? What can I do to get past it? Because I feel like at some point we will need each other. And he states confidently that, you know my ego, brother. He's not having a Russian accent. You know my ego, brother. I can't let you do what you did to me last time this time. And I'm like, oh, great. So this is not going to work. So I say, hey, like, we can get past this. Like, just trying to have a conversation, you know, like a normal player. And he states again, I ain't going to let it happen to me, brother. You're a bullshit artist, and I see right through your game. And I know that how you play the game. And your game is a bullshit game. And then I say, so you'd rather take me out and then lose immediately after than have a better chance of winning the game? And he says, yes. I'd rather you come in 19th place and I come in 17th place than I not beat you at all. That's what he says to me and to my face. I say, I respect that. Nothing personal. Let's move on. Because for me, it really is nothing personal. It is a game. And it is a show. And we have people like whoever may be watching this video watching right now for their amusement. We all got into the show because we love watching it. We are enthralled by it. We are allured by it. People love it. And so, you know, I guess that's good TV. But so all these moves all happen, and I get blindsided. I do. I get outplayed by everybody with the exception of Den himself, who is on the block. And man, not a good feeling because even Cassidy, you would presume would be like one of my top allies, would never lie to me. We played games before where we were on the same page. This time we weren't even in the same chapter. I don't ever blame anybody, and I don't blame her for making a move that benefits herself. Matter of fact, I applaud it. I am proud of it. And at the end of the day, I can still work with everybody involved. I'm not someone that's ever closed-minded. I'm not someone that's scorned. I do forgive, but I won't forget. Won't forget. Every single one of them was capable of blindsiding me, lying to my face, withholding things from me, and blindsiding Den when they could have just communicated with me. It is what it is, and Den goes home. The key factor of this, few things. Obviously, the intention is not to lose your number one ally at the final 22. Never is. You don't love that, right? We don't want to be alone in this game. And that is how I have felt and still do feel. I do feel very expendable. I don't think I'm playing a really strong game right now. I have a big threat level, but I don't have the advantages of having a big threat level. So I do feel a little lost. What direction will I take long term? Well, I know the direction I'm taking short term. I would like to build a weak persona. That is my plan to recover from this. I lost Den. I made it very clear that I lost Courtney as well. 2 top allies. You're pitting me and Den as a duo? That's dangerous to you? Well, Den's gone now. So guess what? I am no threat to you because I'm terrible at the challenges and I don't have any alliances. I have an enemy publicly with JoJo and Kendall. The 2 biggest personalities in the game are gunning after me. So why would you eliminate me? The issue becomes, because they're willing to blindside you, they're also willing to let you go. Because at the end of the day, there's a key psychological factor we're talking about here. So whenever you do a favor for somebody, whenever you keep them safe, obviously they trust you more. But whenever you have a person that feels like they owe you something, or that you owe them something, they trust you more. And this is something that I also do. And to the adverse of that, when you're having a conversation with somebody, you want to avoid having them lie to you, because that ultimately builds a barrier of distrust. Because once that lie is said, you're worried about that lie becoming a possible reality or becoming exposed. And so if you lie to somebody and you blindside somebody, you inherently trust them less, whether you didn't trust them before or not. You trust them less because at the end of the day, they have a reason to not trust you in your unconscious mind. That was a lot. So I do lose a lot of points with all of those people. They all blindsided me, so ultimately I do feel expendable. I feel a little lost, but I bounce back because that's what I do. I'm here for the long haul. If I can build the weak persona, or just even the weak competition persona, or that I am much more alone than some other people, my longevity can be truly, truly appalled. Because if I can get through a few, I can get through the rest. I just got to recover. My social game hasn't been the best. I haven't been focused. I haven't been playing the best game this season. There's a long way to go, though, so just know that things will change. Thankfully, we swap into a team with Jason, Carmelo, Kendall. Kind of a thumbs down on that one. I don't know how they feel about me. We know Kendall's after me. Kendall's not as good as challenges as JoJo, right? And also, JoJo attacked me with a sword because, why not? When you're obsessed with somebody, when you wish you were Big Daddy Pimp King, I guess you attack them with the sword, Kidding, by the way, because what the hell am I in this game? But we get onto the tribe, and Cass is there again. Great. Nova's there. Asiasi, okay. Vinny's there. Feel good with Vinny. Vinny just lost Laney. Cool beans. So that means he's a little bit more for grabs. Jack's there. I do trust him a lot, although I do think Jack's one of the best players here, and I think Jack is playing the game of hiding behind me and hiding behind the other big targets. And I think that Jack is definitely somebody to watch out for making a deep run. I think Jack will make the top 7 in this game. Predicting it now. It's on paper. Then who else on my fucking team? Ayla, feel great with. Love Ayla. Big target, big shield. I think trust me more than Kendall, at least. Don't think Ayla would target me. Who the fuck else on my team? Xavier, Mr. Worldwide. And by Mr. Worldwide, I mean Mr. Nothing Burger, because he don't show up, he don't talk, whatever. Every time I have a conversation with Xavier, I'm like, man, I wish this guy showed up more because he's got some of the most personality in here when he exists on this earth. But he's here usually from 12 a.m. to about like 12:05 a.m. Within that time, it's electric. The remaining 23 hours and 55 minutes, he spent with his fellow Martians on the moon somewhere. Or maybe Mars, Pluto, Project X, any of these places. And so we're here, and then the HOH, Logan and I compete, and I'm trying to build a weak persona, so ultimately I don't want to win any of these. I don't want to win any competition. Even if I'm on the block, there might be a way that if I do bad in the competition, it'll help me survive in a vote. It sounds crazy, but when you don't have that many allies, and you also are viewed as some kind of threat or expendable, you need to give people one less reason to target you directly, especially as we get down the line in this game. I want the narrative to become, we must take out competition beasts. That's what I'll be working towards. Cass wins the HOH. Excellent. Cass definitely won't put me up. Cass obviously blindsided me, but I have a lot of trust in Cass. Cass would be a fool to lose me because I am a trustworthy and useful asset for her. I can get things done. I can get information. I am trustworthy. It might not look it, but I'm not somebody who goes around and squeals everybody's information. Great. So the biggest thing is that she wants to put Vinny and Xavier on the block. And as I mentioned, Vinny is kind of alone. And Vinny, in my mind, is with me. So I go to Vinny and I give him tips and tell him, this is the pitch that you can give to stay safe. Because I don't want to go directly to him and say, hey, you're in trouble, because I don't want to throw Cass under the bus. But I would love a world where Vinny and Cass work together, right? So I go to him and I devise a plan to make it so that we and thus him, because I'm not going up, he is, to not go on the block without telling him this. Guess what? This genius, this big brain, Jimmy Neutron, whatever, mega mind, decides it's a good idea to go expose the entire thing to Nova, who's super close to Cass, tells Cass, who then tells me. I do my damage control, and now I sit here thinking, what the fuck, dude? What the hell's wrong with this guy? You showed up to this game to what? Be the saboteur? Like, are you here to win? Are you here to get Nick the win? I know you're like a big old Nick simp, but what are you doing? Like Dr. Vinny? What PhD of strategy do you have? You clearly don't have a PhD in Big Brother strategy, because going and ratting me out is not the play, because the only person that was really even looking out and trying to help Vinny was me. And now guess what? He has nobody. So if he don't win this fucking veto, he's done. He's cooked. It's over for Vinny. Is what it is. I gotta get to move on. But if Vinny's on the block against anybody, I'll probably vote him out. The interesting thing comes, Xavier. Xavier is, you wouldn't think this, but Xavier is somebody that is advantageous to possibly send home, because in this game, especially in a game where there's returning players and there's so many pre-existing connections, what happens a lot of the times is that the big dogs and the big guns, early on, they lay back and they try to and they accumulate what they think are numbers, right? They lay back, but in their holster at any time, they are ready to draw it out, quick draw, Clint Eastwood style. And the biggest thing that takes place is they all, once the first person draws, once the first shot's taken, it's a rain of fire. And because the people that are being picked off one by one at the beginning are such a small and mitigate target, they dodge all the bullets. All the bullets hit the big targets because it's so much easier to hit the big targets. And then like dominoes, one by one, the biggest threats in the game leave. And then players like Xavier, players like, I don't know, Aquila, Klee, like people that are not super social, that are not super connected, are the ultimate winner of the season. That's not what I want. The only goal I have is to win the season myself. And the way to make that happen is to surround myself in the game with as many buffers as possible. I'm obsessed with it. I'm a big Jeremy Collins fanboy. Meat shields are pivotal for the way I play this game. If there's a target ahead of me, it's easy to throw under the bus. There's easy ways to convince somebody to vote out a big target, as opposed to Xavier once we get down the line and into, single-digit numbers even. Why would you ever vote Xavier out? Why wouldn't you want to sit the final two with Xavier? That's the problem. And if Xavier is up there, it's worth looking at, because people are always going to vote me out over Xavier on the block. It sounds like a cool concept because Xavier is nothing and Vinny is a big threat, but even if Vinny's not trustworthy, Vinny is heavily targeted. The biggest thing can't come from me, because I've already done enough this round to try to help Vinny. He's not getting any helping hand from me besides possibly a vote. And to be honest, just because he did what he did, he deserves to be taught a lesson. So if he's up there, no matter what, he probably goes. The interesting thing is if someone comes down, there's a likelihood that Kendall goes on the block. That's where things get interesting, because you say Styles. You're in an enemy ship. You're in a rivalry with Kendall. So what are you possibly thinking right now? And yes, Kendall is a mess. Kendall thinks that they're the greatest player to have ever graced this earth. Kendall is, even possibly after me, does not trust me. And you say, why? Why would you keep someone like that in the game? And my rebuttal to that is that at the end of the day, when you're so delusional about how good you are at this game, and you preach it to the house, and when you're in the house VC, all you do is yap the entire time, people catch on to that. You build your threat level. People get frustrated with the way and the messiness that comes along with Kendall. And for me, to have Kendall around means the others will chase him down before myself. It is very easy to throw under the bus and get rid of Kendall, as we go along. So we'll see what happens. It might be crazy to keep my enemies around, but if people think that Kendall and I are after each other, they are less incentivized to eliminate me, because I can just get rid of Kendall for them, bloodless, for their game. So, the overarching theme is that I'm a mess. I'm in recovery mode. not playing the best game. But I'm telling you, I'm hustling, I'm trying. And the thing with me, with Big Daddy Pimp King, is I always find a way. No matter what. No matter who. No matter where. No matter how. I win. Nothing, and I mean nothing, will stop me from winning. Thank you for my TED Talk.